Hello, and welcome to CLEA'S World. I am Clea, and today I'd like to share with you more of the information I've received from the 25th dimension during my last BQH session. BQH is just another form of qhht hypnosis that is done virtually. The hypnotist in this case was my good friend Lorraine. I decided to give Carolyn a little break because she's done so much, but she will be back because she's just great. and I will be reading from a transcript. And when I say me, I'll be referring to myself under hypnosis, which means the answers to the questions are coming from a 25th. But before I start reading, I'd like to ask you to please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. And also do give this video a like because it does make a difference for me. And also, please let me know if this stuff resonates with you. Leave a comment below, even just to say hi. I always love to read your comments, and I do reply to all of them. Thank you so much, and let's get started. Okay, so Lorraine, is our science just behind, or is it actually completely off? Me. So it is behind and off. Let me put it this way. We have intuition for certain things, but then we are quickly taken off in the wrong direction because, of course, dark is very, very much involved in science because they really don't want us to know certain things at a 3D level. However, even the light in some ways doesn't want certain things to be known because the whole point here was to have fun and to pretend. But yeah, so there are scientists who have very good intuitions and absolutely they're spot on. But oftentimes the science, the direction it goes in, it tends to limit that intuition or take it in a direction where it will not necessarily give you, an overview of the entire reality behind the scenes. Because again, we've not been interested in this. So we've been okay with science being behind and us being excited about scientific discoveries that are nothing, really nothing. And they were laughing here. We know so much more than that already. So yeah, it's just been a fascinating game that we played here. Lorraine, Clea would like to know if gravity exists, if the theory of relativity is correct. And the reason I asked these questions, because I prepared these questions in advance, is because I've been watching some videos, you've heard me say this before if you've seen my previous videos, from flat earthers, or people that are asking questions about how our reality works. And they were saying, gravity doesn't exist. It's really, they were doing these experiments and they were saying, this ball on top of water doesn't get to the bottom of the glass because of gravity. It's really just that a heavier object will go to the bottom and so on. And so I was curious to read about this, to hear what the 25th had to say. Me. So gravity, and they were laughing here. So it exists from a 3D perspective, just like this planet exists. So yes, gravity does exist. However, again, it doesn't mean that we have to abide by it. We tend to think of gravity as something that is just the way it is, like this planet is just the way it is. We already know there are many ways of looking at things. So yeah, it's as solid. The planet is as solid as it's gonna get in terms of what we like to think of 3D reality. And gravity is real in terms of 3D reality. But of course, that's not necessarily, all of us would be able to defy gravity if that was what we wanted to do. But we don't want that. We want to have certain physical rules here, physical limitations here. So gravity is one of them. Yeah, so it is real in that sense, yes. The theory of relativity, of course, when you think about the fact that these scientists are trying to expand, sorry guys, the theory of relativity, of course, when you think about the fact that these scientists are trying now to expand their horizons into what is really going on, of course, this is nothing. The theory of relativity is just a tiny little speck in the realm of knowledge that we have. So it's a little bit funny in a way when you think about it. We are so enamored with this thing. It feels like such a huge jump in our knowledge. It really isn't, is it? But at the same time, yeah, obviously it's a spark, right? It's further peeking into our reality. And of course, everything is relative because nothing is real. Everything is holographic, and they were laughing. How more relative than that can you have it, where every essence can create its own reality? I mean, that's the ultimate definition of relativity, that nothing is real. Everything changes depending on what the essence wants to experience. So, and obviously we are not talking about in terms of the scientific understanding of the theory of relativity here. But again, so the spark, the intuition is correct. Of course, everything is relative, but we of course don't want to know how relative it is. I thought it was a pretty funny answer, actually. And it totally makes sense. And then we talk about theory of relativity and they're like, everything is relative, of course. It was cute. Lorraine, laughing. She was laughing too. And of course, it's still a theory. Me, they were laughing. And of course, it's still a theory because, wow, that's too close to home. Lorraine, are quantum mechanics and string theory similar? Me, yeah, similar concept. There are a lot of very bright people who are and of course, all of us are bright. We all know everything. But there are a lot of people who like to say that they are in 3D, who truly are jumping at the bits. They're trying to find a way, just like Clea uses hypnosis to connect because it's acceptable to her. They're trying to find a way as atheists, as agnostics, as people who don't believe in anything unless they can prove it. They're trying to find a way that is acceptable to them to connect to what is, to what really is. This is just an attempt by people who don't want to believe in anything, want to feel like they're very objective, to connect. That's all they're doing. They discovered, what are they discovering? In Italy, we have a saying, we say discovery of hot water, meaning that everybody knows hot water. It's not a discovery, and they were laughing. And it made me laugh too when I used that, because yeah, we say that a lot. We're like, oh, you discover hot water. And this is exactly what's happening at the scientific level. They're making this huge discovery that, guess what? We already all know. But because we don't want to allow it into our 3D consciousness, then we need to have it come out from some people that tell us, oh, look at that, look what's happening. And we're like, oh, okay, laughing. They were laughing again. So it's just a game. It's just for fun. Yeah, so absolutely, it's the same story. Lorraine, okay. We like to know about black holes and dark matter. Me, do you want to know what they are? Lorraine, yes, please. Me. Okay, yeah, so it's, this is not a solid universe, solid multiverse. There's nothing solid, and therefore we have areas where we haven't created, simply. This universe does not have we have ideas in 3D. We think perhaps like, maybe Clea thinks so, that it's like a little round shape, that's a multiverse with all the planets inside, or whatever shape this multiverse has, and every area of it is filled out, almost like you're putting Legos together. It's not that way. There are parts that, where the energy behaves differently, and we haven't created anything there. So we have what you would refer to as dark matter. It's just areas of the multiverse that we have not been interested in filling or in building, or in the future, we might build things there, just like we built planets in places where there was nothing before. So what is dark matter? It's simply areas that we haven't filled with anything. Lorraine, science has referred to dark matter as existing everywhere in all the spaces in between. Me, sure, makes sense. I mean, yeah, and they were laughing. Lorraine, okay. Will we create any more 3D planets in the matrix that resemble the 3D chambers so that essences can still experience 3D, but in a fun way, since the polarity should not be too unbalanced anymore now that the reptilians will be healing? Me, will not actually. We have no plans to build another 3D planet right now. I think we are all now focused on New Earth and see what will come out of that. And when I say we mean the entire multiverse. We are doing this is such a huge experiment. It's so exciting in many ways that we'll be focused on that for quite a long time. So it is not our intention at this time to build any new planets. However, we don't really need to. So to answer your question, can we have a planet, a 3D planet that's actually going to be fun the way we wanted this to be fun? Yes, These planets that are currently enslaved by AI will recalibrate themselves. And it won't even take that long because, again, time doesn't work the way we think it does. And so they will be fun planets. So in the next, in any next incarnation, and again, we'll talk in terms of time here. So in the future, say that you, Lorraine, want to go have another 3D experience, but you want to have a fun one this time, you can go to any of those planets. They'll be ready for you. So we do not need to build a new 3D planet in order to have a fun 3D planet. These 3D planets will be liberated and it will be fun. So maybe Claire wants to go hang out there a little while too. I think I need a break first. I'm gonna hang out in higher dimensional realities for a little while, but maybe in the future, who knows, the future. Lorraine, in other words, we are like ripples in the pond. We are shifting as a result of this experiment that will filter out to every other part of the universe. Me. Yeah, and that is important what you said, because sometimes when we say that we're all one, we all feel each other, we tend to think, or we know Clea thinks that it's only on this planet. The truth is we feel everything and everyone in the entire multiverse. So we, right now, if we switch our focus to these other 3D planets, we know exactly what's going on there. So yes, we are absolutely like ripples in a pond. We are all one. The energy is indivisible. These bodies that we used to pretend that we're separate are nothing. This could be dissolved in 1 second if that was our interest. So we feel everything. We know everything. Lorraine. Excuse me, guys. Too much talking. I'm not used to it. Lorraine. Yes, thank you. Okay. Who was Q and who was behind it? I haven't heard about Q in a while. I don't hear anybody talk about it. So I was curious to ask this question. Me. So Q was simply a messaging system. It was a bulletin board, if you want to think of it that way. It was the white hats. They wanted us to know that they were out. So think of the white hats. When you think of the white hats are people like us, normal people, except they have fun. They're having a ton of fun doing what they're doing. So they send out little things. So while all of it seems very, very logistically strategized, sometimes it's just personalities. They're just like, oh, let's see, let's start getting the stuff out there and gather some excitement. I mean, they're having fun. They're like, a lot of them are hackers, and hackers, they like to have fun. And so this has been a really fun thing, and it is a fun thing for them to do. Of course, it doesn't mean they're always having fun in their daily lives. What they're dealing with, they're seeing a lot of dark. It's very hard for us as 3D humans to come face to face with the level of darkness we've had here. So our hearts go out to them. They're doing a great service to humanity, really, to the multiverse. But at the same time, they try to have fun when they can. So Q was a super fun project for them. And so there were some of the white hats behind it. It was not one person. Q was not one person. And they had fun with it. And the reason they took it down is because it became distracting, actually. Well, it did acquire or attract a lot of attention from people that otherwise would have not known. So they did plant seeds. Again, it's all about leaving clues, right? It came to a point where the pros did not compensate for the cons, which was, it took a lot of effort and they just needed to put their focus elsewhere. And that's why Q came to an end, just as simple as that. It was just not a priority anymore. They had already planted the seeds. There was no point in keeping it going, in keeping these messages coming out. Lorraine, it was pretty fun. Me, yeah. Lorraine, did the Q program succeed? Me. Yeah, absolutely. It was clues and it's worked. How many people still think about Q or learn things because of Q? Clea learned a lot of stuff because of Q. She was following it for a little while. She had no idea what was going on before Q, and she wasn't one of the first people, but she heard enough people talk about it to where she started researching. And it was very interesting for a little while. She did follow it for a few weeks. And so a lot of people have learned a lot because of Q. So yeah, it was successful. Lorraine, When in Earth years did we decide to take this game board down? And was this decided in our current era or in a previous reset? Me. So this was decided in a previous reset, and it was decided, we decided this about 300 years ago. So we decided this a long time ago in terms of how long we've been here, because we already saw that the dark had already started doing resets, and we already got the inkling that this wasn't going to be able to be fixed. This wasn't going to end well. And so we've been talking about this for a long time. Now, the logistics have taken a long time, as we've discussed. And that's why it has taken a while here in terms of Earth years. We decided this a few hundred years ago, about 300 years ago, and it was not the current era. It's not the present reset. Well, thank you so much for watching this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.